I love problems. I love to solve problems in a way like Mr. Wolf. My name is Sándor Kiss. Everybody calls me Alex. I'm the CEO of Barion. As the CEO of Barion, I have three main responsibilities. First of all, I have to define the main directions of our strategy. And I have to build a team to implement this strategy. And finally, I have to solve the financing, how we can accomplish this strategy. The most common questions my friends ask about my job is, isn't it too stressful? I think that's what many people ask me. And my answer is usually that it is to some degree, but the other side, the joyful side, is much stronger and much more important for me than the stressful part. To build something, to check your ideas, whether they work or not. And if the ideas, at least a part of them, work, then that's a great feeling, because it means that it's a kind of success feeling, a kind of a justification. Because from the beginning of Barion, many people said, from even friends, that what we would like to do is more or less impossible. It's very difficult, and in Hungary it's totally impossible to implement it. And we managed to prove them wrong, and that's a great feeling. First of all, the Hungarian regulation is very complex and not the most fintech friendly. So there is no point in starting something on the Hungarian market with the Hungarian regulation. The other one is that the Hungarian market is very difficult. And if we would like to grow internationally, then we shouldn't start from Hungary. And we managed to prove them wrong, because on the market where we have close to 10% market share in Hungary, and we are growing really fast in the neighboring countries as well. So the key to our success was perseverance. So there is no single decision or strategy or person that made it possible. So it's a team effort, and it's a constant fight. And I think the most important part, or the most important aspect, is not to give up. So anywhere when we have a setback, we shouldn't give up, and then just find out a solution for that problem. Personally, lately I developed to be more patient. I'm an impatient guy by default, and for many people, I guess I'm still an impatient guy, but I think I'm becoming more and more patient lately. The most surprising skill I found useful is that I have to connect many dots from many areas. So the area where we work is it covers finance, it covers legal issues, it covers technology, it covers business problems, business strategy as well. And solving problems in all of these together, that's interesting, and it's something completely new for me. I do not think that there was a single biggest challenge during my years in Barion. So there was no one single problem that I would say the most important one. I think it's a constant fight, constant struggle. Sometimes very entertaining, solving problems fast and with fast solution and fast feeling of success. Sometimes longer ones. Maybe if you ask me about which problems are the best, I prefer the ones which are difficult to solve. It takes time to solve them, and then at the end it works. That has the biggest positive feeling at the end. There are two types of fintech companies, first of all. The ones who serve the status quo, maybe with a new solution or a better solution or more cost-effective solution. And the other types of fintechs are the challengers. Barion is a challenger, so from this point of view, we are fighting against the status quo. We are trying to change the status quo. And if you do a challenging enterprise, of course, the circumstances are much harsher than if you serve the status quo. It's especially true for the Hungarian market because of the regulation. The regulation is very complex. The Hungarian regulation is overly complicated compared to many other countries. So we have to comply with the legal regulation, and for a small company, it's really challenging. The entry of so the barrier entry, the threshold is very high for a smaller company in Hungary. The other part is technology. So to build a system which is compliant with all the regulation and at the same time has high throughput, can grow with the company is not easy. First of all, it's quite expensive with all the servers and all the architecture. And the second one is that we have to find out the future. So we have to plan for the future, which we don't know, definitely. The company is growing, so we started from scratch, from zero market share. And as I mentioned before, now we have close to 10% market share in Hungary. And we had to grow together with the system, which was extremely challenging. In Barion, we try to hire people who dare to question the status quo. You know, the hiring is decided by the CEO and the hiring managers in a company. And I tried to build a management team which have a similar approach to life. They dare to stop for a moment and say that, can we do it a little bit better, to think outside of the box. And this is, I think, where we are very different from many other companies. So I would say the company culture is defined by the people in the company. And in Barion, we have many people who dare to question the status quo. When I said daring to question the status quo, it means not the external world, it's also the internal world. So if a management decision is something they do not agree with, then they should question that as well. So we encourage the people to come up with ideas and say out loud all of their opinions about even a management decision they don't understand. It helps because maybe the management decision is wrong. If it is not, then at least there will be an explanation for that person and he will understand it more deeply. We have a bi-weekly session, we call it Barion Brains, where employees of Barion make presentations about certain topics, and at the same time others come up with questions. We try to be as transparent as possible about the financials of the company, the strategy of the company, and it's really great that people are willing to understand the direction where we are going and also contribute and sometimes change the direction. So from this perspective, we are pretty far from a multinational big company. The key to success in Barion is ownership mentality. And as a result, the management team decided to distribute shares among the employees of Barion. And as a result, around half of the employees of Barion are owners of Barion, shareholders of Barion, and they influence the value of their shares with their decision, with their everyday decisions. There is no single achievement I'm most proud of. Maybe if I have to come up with one, then it's that the whole team is kept together. So many people we started with in 2013, or actually most of them are still in Barion. So we managed to grow the team and at the same time keep the core people in the company. The community of Barion is heterogeneous. Yeah, because we have many, so most of our clients are small and medium businesses. but we have really big enterprise clients as well. What we try to achieve with our clients is a down-to-earth, open communication. So we are definitely not formal. And that's a big difference compared to banks. So Barion is trying to be informal. We're trying to get away from the strict approach of finance before. The most memorable day for me in Barion was the first institutional investment, when we received the first institutional investment, when we signed it and we made the press conference. That's when I first believed that it's gonna be great. So previously we had angel investors, friends and family, and it was logical that they believe in what we are doing. But the first institutional investor was a very strong external feedback, and a very good one. My vision and the vision of the shareholders for Barion currently is to become the biggest independent Central Eastern European payment provider, and later on, not only in Central Eastern Europe, but also in the European Union, and later on in the world, as logical. Personally, whenever I achieve something, I would like to immediately find out the next step. So I'm never in a state of, sitting at the seashore and, watching the sun go down. I cannot do that. For me, success is finding new problems and trying to solve them. If I can solve that, then I'm happy for a very, very short amount of time, and then try to find the next challenge. And maybe that's a kind of a drug. And I enjoy this drug. I think if someone would like to be successful as a CEO, then he or she has to find a focus all the time and decide what not to deal with. So I think the most important part of being a CEO is saying no to many, many things and keep the focus. If you have a clear vision and a clear strategy, then it's much easier to decide what to focus on and what not to deal with. So a clear vision and where you would like to go, and to be absolutely certain about that's very important to keep focus. And it doesn't mean that it cannot change. So at that moment you have to be certain, and maybe the next day it will change because of external circumstances, because something new comes to the light, new technology, a new regulation or anything else. But in that moment you have to be 100% sure about what you would like to do. And that helps to keep focus. Apart from keeping the focus, it is also important that the strategy, which is in the head of the CEO, must be aligned in the head of the management. So the whole team has to go to the same direction. If it does not happen, then the company will not be successful. So my task as a CEO is to build a team. But apart from building the team, we have to align the goals of the company in the mind of all the people. And it's not a kind of delegating the direction or delegating the strategy to someone else. It's forming the strategy together. And if you do it together, then it's much clearer in everyone's mind. So to implement the strategy is a team work. It's a team game. It's not a one person's task. It's a much more complex teamwork. In my free time, when I have some, I play hockey, ice hockey, and also I'm going on excursions, and I love to learn. So I spend most of my free time learning new stuff, and sometimes it's not related to what I'm doing in my job. Most of the time it is, but sometimes it's absolutely different from my everyday job. If I have to give an advice to university students, current university students, then I would say that never stop learning and never stop questioning the status quo. I think these are the two most important aspects as an advice for them.